I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. This is the regular meeting of the Village Council for the Village of Leonard. Today is November 13th, 2017. I hope everybody had a happy Halloween and we're ready for the cooler weather that we're introduced to again. Let me ask everyone to stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege that we have of meeting here tonight and pray that you will guide the council and the decisions that they make concerning this village. In your name we pray. Amen. Here.
Here.
Note for the record that officers, Clerk City Roadcroft and Village Treasurer Reverse are present. Council received the minutes of the October 9th regular meeting. Are there any questions, changes? Minutes of October 9th as submitted. For the tentative agenda, are there any additions, deletions? If not, a motion to approve the agenda would be in order.
I move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
If there are no questions on the motion, we'll have voice vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve the agenda as submitted, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, council has before it the treasurer's report for the month of October. Are there any questions, changes, corrections? If not, a motion to approve the treasurer's report would be in order.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the treasurer's report. Additional. I'll support.
Okay, there's a motion and support to approve the treasurer's report as submitted. We have a roll call vote on that, please.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
President McDonald? Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
If none, a motion to pay the bills in the amount stipulated would be in order.
I make a motion that we pay the bills in the amount of $5,756.96 from the general fund, $12,359.19 in the major fund, $17,927.90 in the local fund.
Okay, I read that as $17,921.09.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll support.
Supported by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who supported?
Alex.
Okay, we have if there are no questions on the bills, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Amarante?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Okay, at this opportunity in the meeting, we're going to have a chance for public comment. We ask that you be brief and to the point, that you will have a chance to comment during the public hearing if you're here for the block grant funding for 2018. And if you have other business or other comments to direct to the council, now would be a good time to do that. Would anybody care to address the council?
We just came,
Charlie, you're just itching.
we just came for the entertainment.
Okay. All right, if there is no public comment, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which will be a public hearing on the block grant program for 2018 in the village. We have a motion then to close the regular meeting and open the public hearing at this time.
I so moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor of the motion to go into the public hearing section of the meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay. The Village of Leonard participates through the Oakland County Economic Development Division in the Community Development Block Grant Program, which is a benefit to low and middle income residents in the community. This year we are eligible for $6,000 approximately. They give you a ballpark figure, but it usually is the amount that they tell us. So we're looking at having $6,000 for projects in the 2018 budget year. Some of the projects that are available that we currently participate in are, we have done Oxford Addison Youth Assistance in the past. We do minor home repair program. We have done new sidewalk construction. Back in the day, we even bought land and did sewer projects, but we're not eligible for some of that anymore. So with that, is there any comment or anyone want to make a comment for the record on how they would like to see the block grant money utilized in the village?
Sidewalks.
We're not eligible.
Not eligible?
We don't, there's no section of our map that's low income qualified. Sidewalks.
Right. Oh, we can't do sidewalks anymore?
Pathways,
Okay.
not sidewalks.
Yeah.
And so,
This balance of $12,727, is that,
the majority of it's gonna go to the roof that we're replacing.
That's our current balance.
okay, now we're getting an additional 6,000?
6,000.
But it won't be here till this time next year, basically.
Yeah, they just
Right.
released this year's funds last month.
Well, I'd like to see some of it, if not all, go to minor home repair.
Okay, but, so
That's a public comment.
Oh.
we're not allowed to comment for the public.
Excuse me.
What's the money supposed to ultimately do, I guess? Help low-income families?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, our minor home repair is for emergency repairs. If somebody's wall goes out, furnace goes out, they're income eligible. And the income it varies with the amount of income, the number of residents affected. Like if there's 2 adults and 3 children or whatever, there's a framework. And it's not complicated, but it's also, you have to go by. That's how it's set up. So it's not just restricted to poor people, so to speak. It has a sliding scale of sorts.
What other options are offered?
Pardon?
What other options are offered if we can't do sidewalks? I mean,
We can do pathways.
we do pathways, we
Which?
can do public service, so we have 3,000 in with Oxford Addison Youth Assistance from last year. So we could do things to help out our residents that are income qualified and are part of Oxford Addison Youth Assistance. So we found out recently we could pay for like the driver's training, but again, they have to be income qualified. So Judy's working with Oxford Addison on putting together a program, but we do already have 3,000 available to help fund that.
And if anybody were interested to learn more, we could contact the village and we could provide the income guidelines to anyone.
Would a pathway be a tar?
What's a pathway
Yeah.
versus
The
a sidewalk?
sidewalks are generally considered 4 feet and pathways have to be 5 feet wide. Other than that, I don't know of any other definitions.
Now, we were talking about doing something up this hill,
Right.
but when you do that, you have to be very specific of the dimensions, the length, the width. So it's something we could look at for future, but we would probably have to reprogram the money because we'd have to have all those details here right now.
Yeah, no, we can't say we're gonna use it for pathways without specifying where, how long,
Right.
how much we're gonna do.
So, just, this is probably in the master plan, which I know somebody who's working on that, but is the goal to have either sidewalks or pathways along all the main streets? Because like, you know where I live, right?
Right.
I can't get to town without going out into the road,
Yeah.
so,
That has long been
all
a
right, just making sure,
goal, but funding is always a
right,
question.
right. We need to get some low-income people to move into those houses. I mean, that's,
I think that's the wrong direction.
Right, yeah,
This is America, Charlie.
right.
All will comment nowadays.
Okay, are there any other comments?
Could it go to park or no? Nothing in a park for public, like playground equipment? or-
Back in the day, when the village met the income guidelines as an entity, we were qualified to do things like that, but times have gotten better for the village, and so we no longer have a geographic area in which we could do projects like that, but, which is a good thing
Yeah.
in its own way.
We couldn't use any money towards this building?
We have used them in the past for some upgrades, but I guess we don't qualify anymore.
Public service only.
Okay.
I don't know if there's public service.
Okay.
So what qualifies as public service? We're talking about paying
We have to close before we can talk about it.
Oh,
We
okay.
can have public talk, and then we can close and we can talk.
Okay, sorry, I keep forgetting.
No worries.
Because I've got my brains working in here.
I know, because it's going on, that's, like you said, okay, so we can't put a pathway in front of the village park, because that's the village park. Because that would be a nice spot
No,
to have.
I'm not sure that's true.
No, we
We
discussed
we can
doing.
do it wherever we like, but we would have to have enough money, obviously, to do the whole project.
Yeah, you gotta be able to get
Often, $6,000 probably won't get you a lot of sidewalk, it'll get you a couple hundred feet of sidewalk, but when you need to go 1,000 feet or whatever, it's like, what do you do?
Every year, get a couple more.
Let's check it out.
We've
You only
done
have a
that.
couple years to use it though.
To use it.
Now they're
Yeah.
starting to take it back if you don't use it in a couple
Well,
years.
no, but that's what when you're saying pathway, and you're saying not cement, I'm thinking, I'm thinking a 5 foot, I didn't know.
No, it's gonna be concrete or asphalt. It's one of-
Because that would even be nice too. I mean, yes, I know there's not sidewalk on it, but at least that would give you more than having to walk in the road, in front of the park.
Okay, any further comments? If none, I'll close the public hearing by asking for a motion to close the public hearing and open the regular meeting. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion that we close this meeting and open the regular meeting.
Is there support?
I'll second it.
Alex? Kennedy? All in favor of the motion to close the public hearing and open the regular meeting, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Okay. The first item of business, under new business, is community development block grant application and related authorizations, such as the subrecipient agreement between the village and Oakland County. So at this time, council can discuss what we've heard at the public comments from the public hearing, and then ask any questions regarding, so, yeah, legally. Sure.
Well, I was wondering what public services are.
So there,
Part of it's administration, isn't it? For administering the program?
yes, there's public service for battered and abused spouses. There is public services for disabled services. housekeeping services, yard services, safety and repair services, counseling services, legal services, but it all has to be income qualified.
All right, so you're saying if we had somebody who needed help, we could hire somebody and that monies would come from here? Is that what I'm understanding? Or,
We've
okay,
done that in the past.
yeah.
And then minor home repair, but you have to be very specific. How many households that you're going to be providing the service for? What exactly you're going to be providing of the service? That's why we've kind of always gone with minor home repair, because
It was easier.
we're going to fix 1 or 2 households,
Yeah,
or we did youth assistance.
And it sounds like youth assistance has already got an amount.
3,000,
available.
and we're using the majority of our minor home repair for that house, so we should only have 1,000 or 2 left.
okay.
If anybody in the future is going to need anything.
And can we designate that money then to sit there in case we have a need for it, the 1,000 or whatever?
Well, we can always reallocate it.
Oh, okay, all right.
But we would have to have a public hearing again and just make that decision, which is
Okay.
kind of what we've talked about in the past. If something came up where we had a lot of money in one account and needed to move it to another to do a project, we can do that.
All right, so what our best motion would be then to move it to minor home repair?
This isn't moving, this
Or I
is
mean,
allocating.
allocated to minor home repair at this point in time. The need comes up, we reallocate, correct?
Correct.
Are there any other suggestions or questions? Hearing none, is there a motion then from the council as to how they would like to allocate the $6,000 that will allegedly be available in 2018?
I make a motion that we put it into minor home repair.
Second that.
Motion by Mrs. Sotheby, supported by Mr. Hoffman, to allocate the $6,000 of the 2018 block grant program to minor home repair. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, can we have a roll call then?
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Amarante?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to old business, Elmwood Street update. And actually could cover the Whitehead Street as well. Construction is almost complete. They were painting and putting new signs up today. There's still some cleanup to do, and there's still, just so everybody's aware, there's considerable cleanup and rehabilitation that will have to be done in the spring. Obviously, it was too late in the year for grass to grow, so in the spring, after it's had a chance to warm up, and if the grass isn't growing, or if there's washouts or low spots or high spots, they will be back to touch those things up. It's getting pretty difficult to do that now that the weather's turned, but it'll be usable, for us. The paving is done. They are going to be pulling out some of the concrete here in front of Rowland Hall, well, between the store and Rowland Hall and the barber shop because of the poor quality workmanship on some of the paving work. And we're also looking at putting in some extra drainage in this corner as well, because the water comes down the hill and just washes right in front of the barber shop and runs down the sidewalk instead of into the drain where it belongs. So, but that will all be undertaken in the spring. It's just too late this year to do that. So are there any? Pardon?
I see a lot of water staying on Whitehead Road, south road.
Well, there's a lot of mud. When we did the construction, we dug up the base and mixed it in with mud.
Is that all it is? It's just,
Well, if it isn't, we'll have to put gravel on it.
well, there's a lot of water there. I don't remember it being there that bad on the road.
Well, that I can't say. We've got good drainage there now, so I wouldn't expect it to be. If it's getting to the drains, if it's not getting to the drains, then that's grading.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I do have a question, and I think I know the answer. I think it may come up, and so I would like to ask the question. If you'll notice, some of the driveways are finished with a little approach from the street, and some are not. Can somebody tell me why some got it, some didn't? And because I think the question, there are people gonna ask, why? Do you know what I'm speaking of?
Where they're existing, the way it was supposed to work
Okay.
is there were no, if you recall on Forest Street, we did all the residential approaches were asphalted to the right-of-way. That's part of the program. On Elmwood Street, because of cost, we did not do that. However, wherever the construction interrupted or cut into an existing asphalt driveway,
That's what I thought.
they were supposed to regrade and reattach. In fact, if you look over at the post office parking lot, they had to cut back quite a ways in order to get the proper grade and drainage. So are you saying that they didn't do that at some properties?
No, I think they did, all those that had the asphalt.
Right.
And I thought there was one or two that had just dirt also. I'll look again.
Okay.
But in case somebody asked me, I wanted to know what the answer was. And
Well, the
I thought
answer
that's
is-
what the answer is.
If their approach was paved, then it should have been repaved.
Correct. Okay.
And just in case they ask, it was all filmed prior to construction. So
Okay.
so there are records of what was there and what
Okay.
wasn't there. And that includes the conditions of the sidewalks and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was some money cut back too.
No, I have no problem. I just want to know if somebody asked me, what do I
Right.
answer?
Yeah, and if there is a question, directly to me. I'll be the local contact and I'll get,
I'll put one on speed dial.
Oh, yeah, I think I'm already on a lot of people's after this project. I'm number one on the list, and we won't say what list. But, yeah, are there any other questions then?
Yeah, what would be the appropriate time to make a motion to add into the budget for additional maintenance for the new pavement that we've got out here?
Well, actually, we're gonna start our budget process in earnest. What?
We should have it done by next meeting,
Yeah,
for you guys at least to look at.
yeah.
Okay.
December, you'll have a proposed budget. And now what,
I'll get you at the meeting then. We'll talk then.
what I usually try to do is not only do the next budget year, but project it 2 years beyond that, so that we kind of have a long view on it. So that'll be, I'll include that, Alex, based
Okay.
on, and then if you have a conversation with me and or Judy, we'll work that
Yeah,
in.
at the meeting.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, Phyllis.
The two areas that in front of Edgar's old house, where the walkway went up to the street, they took that
Right.
walkway out and
Right.
they put the dirt in, and then they did it over by Malaya's too. All the other areas, they have that grass, on them.
Yeah,
Those, I don't know if they have it at Malaya's, but down at Edgar's, they don't have anything on that. It's just all dirt.
They
Well, it's all
should.
mud is what it is right
Right.
now. And it's washing down into the sidewalk because there's nothing to hold it there.
I will follow up on that.
Okay, I just thought maybe they were going to do it in the spring, but...
They may well be, but if there's a problem, I want to get it addressed now. Those were strictly at the request, or the residents had to want them removed. We did not just go and take those out. Those were not part of the original project, so.
Well, if you took it out from the church didn't ask to have it moved, which I don't care.
No, we discussed it.
You told us it was going. That sidewalk was taken out. You were
Yeah.
given an option,
Really?
really.
Wow. I don't remember it that way, but that doesn't mean, do you want it back?
No,
I
I'm
mean,
okay with
seriously,
it.
if you
I
want it
understand
back.
that. I'm just saying
Okay.
that I don't believe we were given the option. Do you remember an option, Judy? No.
Well,
You're down there by Skippers?
Mark
No,
Olson,
right in front of
Mark
the church.
Olson and Leah, and I was told by the engineers, the house that you're referring to, all were contacted about removing that cement. In fact, Mark removed his own, and we just came back through and finished it.
We weren't given an option when they put it in there in the first place, but,
Oh.
and so I just
Okay,
saying something, I guess.
okay, so are you good, Alex? With yours? Any Any more, Sharp?
No.
Anyone else on the council? Residents?
Is there sidewalk missing now that should be there?
What it was some people had put walks running from the sidewalk out to the street. And over the years, they either broke up or were no longer needed. In fact, some of them used to be old school crossings where the school buses would drop kids or things like that. So some people asked if we would remove them because they were no longer being used. So that's basically how it, once one person did it, then I guess some others saw it and it seemed like they wanted to do the same thing. But I will follow up on that. And if you hear anybody else that has a question on it, let me know, because I will certainly go back to the engineers. Is there anybody else?
We're gonna do anything with Division Street at all next year?
Well, we can talk about that at budget time, all right? It's going to take, we have spent a lot of money.
I know.
And we don't have what you could call a rainy day fund, not substantial enough to do something like that. But yes, certainly that should be one of the topics of discussion for
I mean, if you're gonna do something soon, you're just not even gonna have it anymore.
Right.
It's gonna go away.
Okay. Are there any further comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, I don't have anything further on Elmwood Street or Whitehead. Pardon?
You covered it.
We'll move on then to the DPW. The trucks been having a lot of repairs of late, trying to get ready for winter, but it's really showing its age. We've had to replace rotors, brake lines, a lot of stuff that is really showing the wear and tear. And also Don needs a new air compressor, so I told him to get some quotes. And we'll just have to see what we can budget for that once we know how much he needs, which may be in the next budget. I don't know if we can handle it in this budget or not, so we might have to wait. Okay.
Is that on the truck itself?
No, that's for the shop down there. He uses air for the guns.
Yeah, I know what you're doing.
And he can't break loose some of the bolts on the plows and that because it's gotten so weak that there's just not enough pressure.
You know what size compressor he uses?
Well, his current one is a 3 horsepower, but it's one of those, it's not a piston displacement pump, it's a vibrating pump of some type. Diaphragm, I guess it is.
Yeah, it needs a bigger one.
And yeah, if you let it build up complete pressure, it'll give you enough power for a few seconds it used to. Now it doesn't have the PSI.
If you don't type of thing, so that would be a short-term solution.
Okay. He's going deer hunting. It'll be a few days.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, is that something like that, like homeowner, like air compressors or commercial air compressor?
Well, Tuesdays.
Something like you have in the
You need a bigger one.
Like single stage,
That you can get like Black Friday sales, I mean, you know,
Right,
there's
well,
some
that's-
big deals that are coming up that I didn't know that's something he could even check into.
Yeah, we don't need or have an industrial size. They've always been basically homeowner type roll around compressors.
30 gallon stand up.
Right.
Yeah.
That's okay.
With here, so that Sears, the Sears up over here, they got some actually good deals on one. You pick one up for like $300.
Sears Appliance.
Yes, yeah, I saw an email on that I got.
Well, thank you for that. I'll have Don check it out.
I just know later this month, some really good deals that are happening.
Well, the way we work is we always solicit bids, try to find the best for the least.
Yeah.
So within our budget, so.
Yeah, there was $289 for a 30 or 35 gallon stand up, single stage. So one-time plug-in.
What's single stage? Is that-
It's a single stage, it's got one cylinder instead of two.
Oh, okay.
So when you're using more of the residential aspect, basic stuff.
Okay. Thank you for that. So anyway, Don will be getting, we'll probably see something on that, unless we have an emergency and need to make the purchase before. Okay, for my report, we had no Freedom of Information Act requests. We're still in the midst of trying to get the new roof on the one block grant home. And as far as ordinance enforcement goes, I've got a list now. A couple of them you'll recognize: 4 West Elmwood, 4385 Forest, and 4380 Mason Street. Just trying to resolve them. Some of them are zoning related, some of them are building related. And, it just takes a little time. 4285?
4285, yeah, I remember that.
Typo. Yeah. I'll get it right eventually. Just takes a while.
I got you back.
So, better not let anybody hear me say that.
All right, never mind, I'll scratch that.
Okay, and actually that's about all I have going on right now. So we'll move on to trustee committee report. Summer Festival Committee.
Meetings in January.
Okay. Cable Commission, anything?
Not much.
Okay. Still kicking around on are they making plans or having plans drawn up or doing anything with location and building or?
It is still being discussed. It looks like they will go to the Seymour Lake site because that's where the most influence is.
Yeah. I hear that. Okay. Decorating committee?
Nothing new at this point.
When's the tree going up?
Are we gonna get a tree? Christmas tree? Hey, whose job is that?
That's Kay's job. She's in charge.
We'll let her know you said so.
I'm just the liaison.
Okay.
Liaison much.
How much money do we have in that account? I think
There's money for a tree.
For a
That's-
tree?
Is that a question?
Well, it'd be a
Yeah, I just want to make sure we get it. We got it.
Yeah.
Be careful there.
No, we have more than for a tree.
We've always managed to find the money for trees and some decorations and stuff, so that's not a problem.
No, I know that.
Didn't we
Just gotta have
suggest a date
time
last
to
night,
get-
like a certain time?
Right.
Like the Tuesday or the Sunday or something, the week of Thanksgiving,
We
or
didn't
week after
want
Thanksgiving?
Yeah, the week after
We
Thanksgiving.
asked that it not be Thanksgiving weekend because so many people go away.
You're right.
And it doesn't my opinion, it doesn't necessarily
You know-
have to be on a weekend.
It might be on their meeting schedule list when the tree's going up. Let me run upstairs and take a look.
Okay,
I agree with you. Even if it's December 1st, doesn't matter the day, you know.
I agree.
Yeah, I think
I'd
it's on
rather
their
it be on
schedule.
a Friday or a Saturday. But, you know,
Well, a lot of people have family events. You ask me, I have something every Saturday in December right now. And so that's why I say, personally, someday during the week, and I'm not the only person that has a full schedule like that. If you want your people there, you want to pick a time when, and again, if you pick during the week, most school kids,
Well,
that
did
gets
anybody
them
check with Santa? Shouldn't we check with Santa Claus?
available.
Yeah. I mean, make it convenient for Santa too, you know? Seriously.
Seriously. He used to go to the schools, he still does.
Well, that's a different Santa.
Okay. Yeah, remember I borrowed the soup one.
Well, the village still puts up the decorations at the corner right here, before we stop.
Yes,
I didn't know when those, are those are everything usually.
usually.
It's supposed to be 40 all week though, unless they're put up, we just don't turn them on.
Deer hunting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
They do?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Tomorrow morning.
You might.
Done.
yeah, I know.
Silly.
Well, my daughter got one with the bow last week, so I'm not worried about
messing
it.
with us.
She has 7 grand.
Wow, that's awesome.
Saturday, December 2nd.
Saturday, December 2nd.
I thought it was on there. Schedule.
What time?
All three of us work with
Usually 6, isn't
All
it?
right.
Yeah, you think
Okay.
everybody.
Moving on, North Oakland Transportation Authority, they have a meeting this Thursday. I can't think of anything, ridership has gone up considerably in the last 3 to 6 months. I think it's almost 20% higher than it was a year ago. So we've got new buses, a couple new buses, and new drivers and new dispatchers, and it all seems to, and we've added 2 routes. So that's really, improved the service levels, and I think people are real happy with it.
What's the criteria to ride that?
You have to call them, give them your information, they verify that you're a resident, etc. And then you call. I think you need 72 hours for a doctor's appointment if you have a specific time. Otherwise, you can call 2 days before to arrange a ride to the store or whatever. And you can try last minute, but the odds are better if you give them a little notice, because they literally tailor the routes to the people.
Do you have to be over 55, or is it anybody, or?
No, it's, it's not income, or I think it's not income oriented, it's age, disability. And honestly, I don't know that they've ever told anyone they can't ride a bus.
I think, don't they give a price break to senior citizens, or there's some difference there. But
I can't speak.
I know I had a younger neighbor who used to use it because she didn't drive, but
That may well be the case. The only difference I know is residents, it's $1 a ride. So if you're a resident, it's $1 to the store and $1 back or wherever you go. Non-residents, I think it's $2. So if you're,
well, I knew there was something.
yeah. But they have a website, so if you wanted to contact them. Certainly, if you're a senior, you don't have to wait to qualify. Otherwise, I don't think there's any problem. Usually, we've had people that have lost their licenses, disabilities, hard times, no vehicle. We try to, because we now have a millage from the community, so we try to accommodate all the residents as best we can. But that doesn't mean that we can transport able-bodied people to work every day of the week. So. Okay, Planning Commission.
We've got a meeting
Okay, this Thursday?
Thursday,
This Thursday, we're at 7 p.m.
correct?
And we're going to be talking about the private road amendment to the zoning ordinance as well as the master plan. Okay, Pollyant Trail, meeting on Wednesday. It's at Oxford Village, and it's going to be basically, we've already set our budget, and there will be a 10% increase in the participating communities' dues or participation rate as part of that budget. So that all the communities are going to be doing their budgets, and that'll have to be incorporated in as well. Village Park, Mike and I wrapped some trees up and dragged some benches out of there.
Somebody put Halloween decorations. I'd like to thank whoever it was.
That was Kay.
Mark and Kay, I saw them doing it.
She asked if they could do that because the town was so tore up they couldn't decorate. And I said it would be fun.
Yeah, it was nice. Okay, and then everybody got the Community Development Block Grant Fund, as Paul referred to it earlier. As far as correspondence goes, I learned tonight that there's going to be a meeting on November 20th at 6 p.m. at the Addison Township offices. And the subject of the meeting is trying to stop the injection wells in Addison Township for oil and gas exploration. So that's November 20th, 6 p.m. at the Addison Township offices. With that, I have nothing further. Does any council member?
Anybody that wants those can have those.
Okay. I've got here it's like a promotional item for Oakland County Shopper Contest. It says shop small, win $5,000. Small business, Saturday to Saturday, November 25th to December 2nd. There's a website and an informational thing here, if anybody wants to. There's plenty of them.
I put some at the post office, some at the library.
Already. Anything else? Any other comments? Oh, Mike?
I think it's appropriate for the council to recognize that Mary Sue Sotheby will be 99 tomorrow.
Wow.
Wow, that's not you.
It's me, go ahead.
27, yeah.
Okay, this is official. Everybody sign it. Okay. Is there no further business to come before the council? A motion to adjourn would be in order?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second it.
All in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thank you.